the FIA got the better of Red Bull once again. The 2024 season was filled with well-documented clashes between the two organisations, and this latest development may very well send Max Verstappen's 2025 title hopes to the back of the line. Reports suggest that Red Bull is fuming over a last-minute rule change introduced this winter. According to Italian outlet Auto Racer, the reigning champions were blindsided by the decision, adding to a growing list of grievances in recent years. The 2024 season marked a turning point for Red Bull, as their once unshakable dominance slipped away. A combination of factors, including Sergio Perez's continued struggles, saw the team fall to a disappointing third place in the Constructors' Championship. Despite the setbacks, Max Verstappen still clinched the driver's title, though this time it wasn't a cruise to victory. McLaren's Lando Norris put up a fierce fight, helping his team secure their first Constructors' Championship in over 25 years. One of McLaren's key weapons last season was their cleverly designed flexi front wing, which legally gave them an ideal balance, extra grip at low speeds and stability at high speeds. The introduction of these flexible front wings has proven to be a game-changer in Formula One, allowing teams to fine-tune their aerodynamic balance like never before. By optimizing grip in slow corners while maintaining stability at high speeds, these innovations have helped eliminate understeer at low speeds and oversteer at high speeds, dramatically improving overall car performance. Crucially, they've also enabled teams to run stiffer suspensions without sacrificing aerodynamic efficiency. We realized that aeroelasticity had unexplored potential, and so we pushed like crazy in that direction, admitted Andrea Stella a few months ago. McLaren was the first to harness this advantage, transforming themselves from an outsider into a genuine title contender as they figuratively and literally overtook Red Bull's once unshakable dominance. But they weren't the only ones. Mercedes introduced their own flexi-wing in Monaco, while Ferrari followed suit with a refined version debuting in Austin. Red Bull, meanwhile, found themselves caught off guard by how effective these innovations were. Technical director Pierre Wash admitted that the flexible wings had allowed rivals to rebalance their cars and gain the upper hand over the reigning champions. But the RB20's struggles ran deeper than just the absence of a flexi-wing. Major correlation issues in the car's design left the Milton Keynes squad scrambling for answers. Behind the scenes, both Red Bull and Ferrari lobbied the FIA to scrutinise the legality of these designs, questioning whether they were pushing the boundaries of the regulations. But after multiple investigations, the FIA found no rule breaches, forcing Red Bull to tackle their technical woes without any regulatory lifeline. We were convinced that the FIA would ban these wings after the installation of the new cameras from the race in Belgium, explained Fred Vasseur. However, they decided otherwise, and that cost us 1 or 2 months. Ultimately, the FIA decided against imposing stricter tests on flexible front wings for the current season or the upcoming one, set to kick off in mid-March in Australia. While Red Bull wrestled with correlation issues plaguing their RB20, Ferrari took a bold step, debuting a fully developed flexible front wing. This aggressive move paid dividends, helping the SF24 build on its Monza upgrades and clinch victories in Monza and Mexico. Charles Leclerc flourished in the latter half of the season, racking up more points than ever before. Despite Ferrari's resurgence, Christian Horner's Red Bull kept their cool. They planned to use the winter break to close the gap in aeroelasticity, confident the FIA wouldn't backtrack on its decisions. With significant investment in refining the RB21's wing flexibility, the team was gearing up for a strong debut, scheduled for a filming day in Bahrain on February 25th after its livery reveal in London. But in a change of heart that left Red Bull reeling, the FIA reversed its stance in late January, altering the regulations they had so fiercely lobbied for last season. The decision effectively rendered Red Bull's extensive winter development moot, igniting frustration and forcing a last-minute rethink ahead of the new campaign. As expected, the FIA has officially toughened its front wing tests, further restricting how much the wing flaps can flex under static load. The internal section's allowable movement has been reduced from 3mm to 2mm, while the external part has been cut from 15mm to 10mm. Rival teams strongly suspect that McLaren played a key role in pressuring the FIA to enforce these stricter measures. After Ferrari's impressive late-season form, and with Red Bull seemingly overcoming their correlation and flexibility issues, McLaren may have sought to preemptively curb their competitors' gains before the 2025 season even began. It's a classic Formula One power move, The teams that benefit most from a loophole are often the first to push for its regulation, once they've already developed an alternative. Now teams are being forced to rethink their aerodynamic strategies, having previously worked under the assumption that the FIA wouldn't move the goalposts. The Milton Keynes outfit had poured time and money into catching up over the winter, only to find their efforts wasted. Their frustration is palpable, and while the true performance impact of these changes won't be clear until May or June, one thing's for sure: Red Bull isn't happy. Adrian Newey has suggested that Red Bull's struggles with the RB20 during the 2024 season may have been exacerbated by a lack of experience within the team, admitting he had concerns about the car's drivability issues as the year progressed. After a record-breaking 2023 campaign, where Max Verstappen and Red Bull won all but one race, the team seemed poised for another dominant season, as Verstappen clinched victory in 7 of the first 10 Grand Prix. But as we know by now, the tide began to turn as McLaren and Ferrari rapidly closed the gap, challenging Red Bull supremacy. While Verstappen held off Lando Norris to secure the Drivers' Championship, McLaren surged ahead to claim the Constructors' title, with Ferrari also overtaking Red Bull for second place. Newey, whose departure from Red Bull was announced in May, officially leaves his role in early 2025 but stepped away from Formula One projects soon after, shifting his focus to the RB17 hypercar. Now set to take on a new challenge as managing technical partner at Aston Martin from March 1st, Newey shared his insights with Auto, Motor and Sport on why Red Bull's early season dominance faded, allowing rivals to catch up. Obviously part of that was McLaren in particular, and Ferrari as well developing their cars and doing a very good job of developing their cars, the Briton explained. I think Red Bull, from what I could see, the car was already the 24 car and through the very last stages of 23 as well, I would say, starting to become more difficult to drive. And of course, Max could handle that if you like. It didn't suit him, but he could handle it. Checo Sergio Perez couldn't. So you also started through the 23 season to see more of a difference in performance between the teammates, Max and Checo. That carried into the first part of 2024, but the car was still quick enough to be able to cope with it. It's something I was starting to become concerned about, but not many of the people in the organisation seem to be very concerned about. From what I can see from the outside, but I don't know. The guys at Red Bull, this is no criticism, but I think they just perhaps through lack of experience kept going in that same direction, and the problem became more and more acute to the point that even Max found it difficult to drive. Now that they're starting the season with their back against the ropes, can Red Bull find a way to claw their way back to the top? Tell us what you think in the comments section down below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.